Showtime! The Capital G show starts right now.
What's up YouTube, Capital G here, talking about one of the new hero cards coming out in the hero structure deck soon. I believe we're right around the corner from it coming out in the OCG. It's probably going to come out in the TCG probably towards the later end of the year. Anyways, we knew that there was probably going to be a Dark Mass hero that was going to come in that structure deck. We now know everything about it. We have the name, we have the stats, we have the effect. Guys, this card is insane. It's called Mass Hero Dark Law. It's a level 6 Dark Warrior fusion type monster. 2400 attack, 1800 defense. Wait till you hear this effect. Oh my goodness, you're gonna flip out. Must be summoned by mass change and cannot be special summoned by any other ways. Cards sent to your opponent's graveyard are banished instead of being sent to the graveyard. Once per turn, when your opponent adds cards from their deck to their hand outside of their draw phase, you can randomly banish one card from your opponent's hand. So, wow. This guy isn't good. This fucker is straight up incredible. Like, Disney should sign this guy to a contract right now. Get him in the Incredibles movie. Make him like crazy Uncle Darklaw or something like that, because it belongs there. And don't tell me I'm overhyping it, because I'm not. Like, this is one of those cards, much like The Shining or Ab-Zero, that can take a good deck in Heroes and make them a great deck. Like, let's go ahead and dissect the effect. Okay, so the first part is essentially a one-sided macrocosmos, which in itself is a card so powerful, Konami saw fit to limit it. I mean, you can just look at that right there and think, okay, well, this guy's going to be a doozy. And this essentially means, well, my deck, Bujins, you get raped by it because no Yamato dumps, and you don't get Crane or Honest effect either. In fact, if you even try and activate Yamato, his second effect will kick in, but we're not even going to go that far. Mermill, I mean, you get raped by it too because your entire deck doesn't work. Artifacts, you get raped by it because none of your cards will trigger. They won't go to the graveyard, thus they can't resummon themselves. Infernity can't go off because, you know, a lot of their plays involve getting cards like Street Patrol and other Infernity cards into the graveyard so they can bring them all back. Nope, nothing goes to the graveyard. They all get banished, so you can't go off. Hands won't get their effects. Fire Fist can't launch their cards, so you can't pop this guy with Bear. Shaddoll's just get trampled because your Shaddall fusion, all your monsters will get banished. You won't be able to do anything. This shit is ridiculous. Like, I could go on and on and on, but it would pretty much get redundant. Like, the only deck that I can think of off the top of my head that just won't get shat on by this card's first effect is pretty much Girgia. I mean, because they constantly side Macrocosmos. The second effect is just downright dirty. Like, I mean, I would feel bad if I actually resolved it against my opponent. Like, I'd have to shower because the card would have already been amazing without it. So to do this effect, it just adds insult to injury. Like, basically, if your opponent recruits for a card, you know, to their hand in any way outside of the draw phase, you basically just get to banish another card out of their hand randomly. I mean, and there's a chance you could hit the card that they recruited for and just collect those salty tears of theirs. This means, in essence, I personally think that most of the time he's going to act like Thunder King Ryo. Your opponent is not going to attempt, which, I mean, it's good in itself. If your opponent is sitting on, you know, a Rhoda, a Tenki, and something else, it's like, okay, well, even if I don't get the, you know, even if you have those cards, I mean, what's the point if you can't use them? But it's good to know that if your opponent does try, you know, out of desperation to get to those, or to use those cards, they use their Tenki, their Rhoda, their Duality, their Infestation, Infection, their Pike, etc., etc., you get to essentially fuck them up for free just for attempting that play. So I guess you could throw Genix Undyne in there too, because that adds controller to the hand. I look at this card, the stats are great. You know, the first effect is Macro, which is fucking an incredible card that just wrecks like 80% of the meta. The second effect is going to be crazy because we have so much recruiting in this game. And this card is flat out amazing. I mean, the only downside that you can even look at this card and say is that you have to summon it with Mass Change. But, I mean, how hard is that going to be? You can get Mass Change from Shadow Mist, and Shadow Mist is a searchable card in itself. So it's like, how hard is that really going to be? So, yeah, this card is ridiculously good, guys. Thank you for watching as always. Tell me what you think of it. I know that there is a light one coming out too. I mean, if the dark one is this good, I can only imagine what the light one's going to be. All right, that's it. Subscribing makes life happy.